All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hurt Business Podcast. My name is Faris Shirai, and today I have a big guest ahead of us. As you see in the title, he is Julian Jiggy C- C- Connerton. How you say the last
Connerton.
name, boss?
Connerton.
Connerton. My fault. I didn't
You had
want
it
to
right. Nah,
butcher
you
it.
good. You good.
How we doing, boss?
I'm feeling good, man. Sharp. I'm feeling good. Weight's on point right now. Everything's good.
We're about 3 weeks out from the fight.
Yeah, 19 days.
Ooh, we counting down, huh?
Hell yeah. I'm locked in.
So first title fight, first MMA title fight at least. What do when you first got the call and got the word of the opponent and the stakes of the fight, what was the feeling?
So it started off with I was supposed to fight for the actual 45 title. I was supposed to fight Johnny O'Neal. He's a stud Muay Thai striker. I was super excited to and I accepted that challenge. And then he pulled. He said he has some injuries, and then he ended up fighting 2 weeks later for the WBC Muay Thai. I got a bone to pick with him. That's later problem. But then I got Devin Garcia out of Cali, and he was 5-1. And then Nate texted me last Monday, and asked me if I was ready for a title shot again. And I was like, so Johnny wants to come back and fight for the title again or put the title on the line? Like, they were like, no, like they want to wait for, they're going to just do an interim, and then the winner of that faces Johnny to get the actual title in the spring. So now I'm going against Darian Paget. He's 5-1-1, and he's out of, I think he's in Indiana, Chicago, something like that. He's good. He's valid. All three of them are valid. I'm at that stage in my career where I'm not fighting. We fighting titles, and that's it.
Hmm.
That's what I want.
Price went up.
Yep. And I don't just come to fight. I come with a show. I come with a fan base. I come with everything. So it's like that's what I want.
Is it frustrating having the champion pull out and go do other things and you have to fight for an interim rather than just fighting Johnny himself?
Nah, man. I mean, all of this stuff happens for a reason, and nothing but props to him for he went out there and won the WBC Muay Thai Championship. So it's just the fact of like how it went down. Like
Mhm.
if it was me, I'd be like, oh, I got a better opportunity. We can run it in the spring. Dead. Period. I would have been like, damn, bro, like, good shit. Go get the belt. But it's just like it didn't go down that way. But whatever. So I'll fight. If it's a belt involved, I don't care if it's got interim in front of it. I don't care if it's got BMF in front of it. I'm fighting for that motherfucker.
Mhm. Why is that?
Cause it's just extra. It's all. It's like this when I picture doing this, or anyone, not even just me. When anyone pictures doing this, they picture gold being strapped around their waist, and it's that simple. And then when that opportunity comes, you got you got to take it, regardless of what it is, and it's only gonna put me in a better position. It's only gonna teach me how to handle pressure better. It's gonna only teach me how to fight under pressure and under the lights and under higher stakes. That's all you can ask for. You only want to keep challenging yourself.
Hmm. Do you think that this is that step up for you? Do you think this is that next big test?
100%.
How
100%.
do you, what's a successful night to you look like?
Obviously, getting the belt strapped around my waist, but I want I want to show a very very well-rounded fight, and I know this guy's gonna bring that out of me, and I need to be well-rounded to win this fight. And I'm at that stage in my career where you're fighting guys that aren't really just striking based, aren't really just grappling based. Everybody's got a good, especially at this new generation of athletes coming up.
Mhm.
Everybody is going to be good at everything. So it's like you can't. Obviously, there's a game plan. Obviously, I'm looking at little things and I'm studying film and I'm doing all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, you just got to fight the motherfucker. That's it. You got to go in there and fight, and you got to be just as, or if better, being better well rounded than the person across from you.
Would you have rather faced a Muay Thai based fighter versus like a wrestler or a different style?
Um, I like striking.
Mm,
It would have been dope to that's my shit. Like I started off, I had 4 Muay Thai fights in the span of like 2-3 months, and that's how I started off my career. Like
mhm,
I had to get used, and it was all just trial and error. Like the Muay Thai fights were just to get used to the crowd, just to make sure I'm focused in between rounds to my coach, and so it's just like, yeah, I would like to face a striker because I am a striker, but I'm well rounded too, and I have confident in every. I'm confident in every realm of the game, so it's like where whoever, whatever base you think you're better than me at, we can test it. And if you are better than me, I'm gonna go back in the lab and I'm gonna get better at it. So it's like all this shit is trial and error.
mm. You mentioned the activity a second ago, the 3 Muay Thai fights in a few months. This is now gonna be your 4th fight of 2023. Is activity one of your strong suits? Is that something you pride yourself on?
Yeah, man. I mean, I take care of my body, my mind. Um, that's something that I pride myself on outside of fighting is just always taking care of myself. So it's like if you're healthy and you want to actually do this, why not fight? Especially as an amateur. Yeah,
Mm,
I got to make time for family and stuff like that because I am in Maine and my family's in Jersey. So I got to make sure I'm balancing both. I can't get too lost in the sauce where I'm disregarding my family because I lost my grandmother recently and it was just like, you know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to figure out the balance. So I do take trips back home. So after this fight and that's coming up, I'm gonna take the rest of the year off. I'm gonna go home to Jersey, spend some time with my family for the holidays, and just make sure I got that balance right. That was very important. But yeah, activity is always big.
mhm. Some well-deserved time off, bro. I know 4 fights is a really good year, especially if you can cap it off with a title. I mean, that there's no way better to go out. Also, sorry to hear about your grandmother, man.
Yep.
It's a sad day, man.
Yeah,
We are
brother.
Yeah, it's a part of life, unfortunately. But anything you look forward to, like most Jersey? I know your family's there. That's probably number one. But is there like a course, a meal? Is there like a site that you're like, damn, I can't wait to see that again?
Yeah, bro. I mean, obviously my mom's cooking. My mom's Puerto Rican. My
Mm.
uncle's African American. So like the food there goes crazy. So I'm fighting at 45, so I'm gonna make sure I get super bulky for the holidays.
That's right.
But I also like going home just to like revisit how things used to be, where my mind was when I was walking to school, where my mind was where I was waiting for the bus stop. Like that young kid that was waiting at the bus stop at 6, whatever time in the morning to go to school, never would have imagined that
Mm,
he'd be walking down that same street with a belt strapped around his shoulder,
mm.
an MMA belt. Like it's just wild to me. So I like going home for those kind of reasons. Obviously, I like seeing family. Obviously, I like eating good food, but it's also good to go back to your roots and visualize and see and remind yourself of like why you're really doing this shit.
Why Maine from Jersey?
I played football for 13 years.
Oh, okay.
Football in Jersey is huge. And my high school was very, very dominant. We were disgusting. We were dirty. And I grinded all 4 years, but I never really saw the field because of how talented everyone was. And obviously I put in the work and that's a part of me now, like working for what I want. And we were so good to the point that I had gotten looks from other schools to be a long snapper because that was my way to get on the field. I couldn't play linebacker, which is what I played. I couldn't play anything on offense. I did, but I wanted to be on the field like consistently. So I was like, I'll just take up this new skill and I'll work at it. And I ended up getting a couple looks from schools. Got invited to Bryant University for a specialist camp. I went to Alabama and met Nick Saban.
Oh,
That was a team trip, but I ended up doing like some specialist stuff. And I met, I think his name's Chip Kelly, the coach for Notre Dame. I met um, coach from Rutgers. And then, so my last two schools, it was Bryant or Rutgers. And I wanted to get away from home, man. I wanted to go see the world, so Rutgers was way too close to home. I visited Bryant, and it was just wasn't my vibe. And the defensive coordinator for UNE was at the Rutgers specialist camp, and he gave me his card, and I was just like lost. Really, I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do, and I was just going through my wallet, and I saw the card. I shot him a text. He was like, "Oh, let's get you up here for a visit." So I went and visited, and they took us to like a hockey game. I'd never been to a hockey game before in my life, and I was sitting there and I was just looking around. I was like, "Fuck it, this is different enough." So I just decided to go to UNE, and I played football there for 2 years. COVID happened. I ended up staying in Maine during COVID. I didn't go back to Jersey, and I was just playing video games all day. And I was like, I need to do something active. So I found my old karate gloves, and I went down to the football field. You know how the field goal post is padded?
Yeah.
I ended up just hitting that.
Mm.
I was like, when COVID's over, bro, I'm gonna go find me a gym. And I walked into Evo, and I ain't turned back since.
Mm. You were just throwing combos at the goalpost?
Bullshit. Man,
Kicks and all, or you just throwing it?
I got the videos, and I'm just like, oh yeah, no, it's weird, but it's weird to see it now. I was about one touching 190.
Mm.
The
Mm.
heaviest I was like 201, I think.
Wow.
Yeah,
Damn, that's crazy. I've seen the pictures, I've seen the transformation pictures, and it's impressive, bro.
yeah.
But my question is, football to straight MMA or striking. How did you make that transition? What inspired that move?
Yeah. So, like I said, when I was in high school, I was grinding, like just trying to get on the field, trying to get on the field, and again, I obviously it didn't end up happening, but I did footwork non-stop. Footwork was my favorite thing to do. Ladder drills, cone drills, all of that. So when I came to do striking, moving and evading punches and getting in and cutting angles and all that stuff came so naturally to me. And even like wrestling, like you tackle in football, so it was just like the movement and the angles with the striking, and then you do jujitsu, and then the tackling from football, and the strength you get from football, the lifting and being like athletically, like being able to move like an athlete. It all just gelled together well, and I'm still learning, man. I'm still very very green when you watch the guys at the highest level do it, and that's what excites me, is like seeing these guys at the highest level, and you're like, damn, I still have a long way to go, but I'm good.
Damn good. Fighting for a title in a few weeks here, man. That says a lot about you, man. Uh Now before we push past the college, you played long snapper in college, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, if I give you a football and you get in position, how far can you snap a ball? Like, are we talking 30, 40, 50 yards?
We count the roll too.
What you mean, bro? Like,
Like I can snap it, and then we'll measure it from like where it rolls to.
ah, I would let's say straight airtime.
Nah,
Like wherever it plants is your mark.
I could hit 40. But the thing is with the long snapping is when I went to the camps, they timed it from like the second you snap to the second the punter catches it, to the second the ball gets in the air, to the second where it gets to the ground. It's all one operation time.
Mm,
So like at Division 1 levels, your snaps for long snap, like punt snaps, need to be like 1.1 seconds, and your field goal needs to be like point 0.4, I think, or something like that. And my fastest field goal was like 0.34. My fastest long snap was like 101 or one something like that.
mm,
So it's
that's
like
crazy.
it's all a time thing. Like they're all measured and stuff like
Mm.
that.
And there's a technique in snapping it, right?
So
Like you wanna like spiral it and like
you
dart
just
it to
gotta,
the
yeah, you gotta throw it. Like you don't. The one hand's your guide hand. Like I'm geeking out right now because it's like people don't really ask you about that shit. But like you gotta hold the ball and you gonna throw it. Like if you were to actually launch the ball, you hold it like that, and then you just put the guide hand on top, and you basically just throw it through your legs. But it's hard to do. It's a hard movement. It's hard to like be in that stance, and it's hard.
Right, because you're not lifting it and then throwing it. You're
Mm-mm.
throwing it from the
It's
ground.
a dart.
Ah, that shit's impressive, man. That's impressive. I'll appreciate some art when I see it, and
Yeah,
that's art right there.
yeah,
Speaking of art of scrap. What tell me a little bit about promotion.
yeah, man. So it's two brothers that run it. Um, they're amazing, bro. I have nothing but respect for those guys. They've shown nothing but hospitality, and you see the videos like the stadium, the jumbotron, the walkout, the DJs. Like it's wild. It's wild. Like the first time I went there, it was nothing like it. And I fought a hometown. I fought two hometown kids my first two fights there, and my first fight I won the crowd's respect. But
Mm.
I walked out first and I got in the cage, and as soon as his music started playing, the whole place just erupted, and I just like remember looking at my coach from like the bottom as I'm walking in the cage. I'm like, who the fuck is this kid? There's just like, rah, like crazy. I was like, yo, who am I fighting right now? But no, that whole thing's awesome. You get your locker room and all that stuff. It's dope. It's really dope.
And this is in Maine, yeah?
Nah, Indiana.
Indiana. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Awesome. I mean, a name like Art of Scrap, you would think that it's a sick promotion.
Yeah,
That's a name right there.
yeah, it's dope. It's dope for real. And it's only their seventh show.
Damn. Damn, it's crazy, man. October 7th for Art of Scrap 7. Look at that.
Yeah.
Now you're standing in the octagon and the crowd is erupting. And did that sway you away from your game plan? Did that get in your head a little bit like, holy shit, what am I about to do right now?
Um, it didn't get my head in a bad way, but
Mm,
it was definitely a thought. But the thing I really like pride myself in too is like having control of the crowd too. Like that's my I like I feed off of that shit. I feed off the energy of the crowd. I like I like the cartwheel I do when I get in the cage, the showmanship, the little bull flag that I did in my last fight. Like it's just part of the game. It's
mm.
all there's certain ways that you can elevate your performance outside of fighting. Like you can have control of the crowd, you can do all the showmanship stuff, you can have ring generalship. Like there's so many different ways in this sport that you can elevate your performance and in the judges' eyes just be like, damn.
That's a really, really good point, man, because this past weekend at UFC Noche, there was a guy by the name of, Jack Della Mañana.
Yep.
Now Jack, I think, is ridiculously talented, but the guy is so fucking boring.
Yeah.
He is so boring. There's no person like he's a great fighter. Like when the bell rings and the bell ends, like it's nonstop entertainment. But whenever he talks, whenever he like is in front of a crowd, he just doesn't know what to do. So
Yeah.
what is like your advice to somebody who may be overwhelmed by the moment or doesn't know how to grasp it fully? What is kind of your take on that?
Yeah. It's tough for some people, and you gotta kind of have the personality for it. But at the end of the day, it's really about being true to yourself. Like you don't need to put on a persona. You don't need to be something that you're not. You can just be you. Like there's people out there that are gonna like you for you. You don't need to put on this persona and either please everyone or make everyone not like you. Like there's people that go into that face role and there's people that go into that heel role 100%. And they're like, fuck it, I'm gonna just make everyone hate me. And it works. Sometimes it works. But I just feel like I found a lot of success just being myself, bro.
Mm, mm.
Like, I don't know. I like dancing. I walk out, I dance. I like talking to people after the fights. Win or lose, I go over to the fan. Like that's what people like. They just watched you like perform. That's like you go out there and just talk to people, and they're like, "Oh, good fight." Instead of just walking by someone, they're like, "Oh, good fight," and you'd be like, "Thanks." Why don't you just be like, "So what's up?" Like, talk to them. Have a good like. That's the shit that makes people like that sticks with people. Like
Mm.
they're like, "Oh, I remember that guy. We had a whole conversation. We had this. We had that. He told me this. He told me to keep pushing. He told me to do this. He told me to do that." It's just everyone will pull something from you, and there's always like I'm a people person. I like talking to people. I feel like everyone has valuable information that I can learn from them, so I always talk to people. I always talk like no matter what. My girlfriend will go out to eat and I'm just talking to the waiter or the waitress about it. I'll go to Starbucks, I'll just talk to the lady. There's a long ass line behind me and I'm like, yeah, so like this and that, and I'm like not even talking about coffee or not even talking about the food. Like
You're a
I just like
personable guy.
Yeah, I just like talking to people, bro.
Yeah, I do too, bro. Hence why I started this podcast because that thing that you said about you can learn from everyone. That's so true. Like
Yeah,
regardless what they're doing, who they are, what phase of life they're in, you can pull something from everybody.
yeah,
Why is it important to you to? It sounds like you want to be a source of motivation. Why is that important to you?
yeah. I've had so not gonna go crazy deep into it, but just like how I said I worked so hard to play football. So let's just go back to that 13 years, right? Of grinding, 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 and never having people to be like, "Yo, congratulations! Like you did it. You like you're playing. You're at your D1. You're playing linebacker Division 1. You're doing this, this, and that." Instead, I had people like, "Oh, I told you. I told you you weren't gonna do this. I told you you weren't gonna do that." And that was coming from like me personally. That was coming from the people that were closest to me. So, and that shit tore me down, bro. And I remember when I said that I was going to fight, I brought it up to the people that were close to me, like the closest people to me, and I brought it up to them, and it was just like a sly smirk and a yeah, okay. And I never want to make somebody feel like that ever. Like no matter what size you are, how big or small you are, what kind of headspace you're in at the time, like you put your time into it and prosperity will come from it. And I never want to put anyone down like that because that shit sucks, bro. Like, especially coming from people you thought would be like, yeah, bro, go get it. Like, go do your thing. I know you can do it. Instead, it's like us. You can still hear me?
Yeah, you're still here.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know, bro. I just don't want anybody to feel like that. And that's why I grind so hard. And that's why, like, I talk to people the way I talk to people.
If you could tell yourself anything in that, like this version of Jiggy, if he could tell that version of Jiggy who tells his family members like, "I want to go fight," and they give the smirk that I know that smirk, that little smart smirk, like, "No, you can't."
Mhm.
What would you tell Jiggy and like young Jiggy right there?
Let it burn.
Mm,
100%. Normal person would just be like, keep grinding, keep doing that. But you gotta let that shit burn. You can go out there for a day or two after they do that, and you can go grind your ass off for 8 hours in 2 days and be like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then just slow down. But you gotta hold on to that fire. You gotta hold on to that burn. Like it's been a year and 7 months since I started,
mm.
and that motherfucker still burns because I hold on to it. Every time the flame starts to go out, you put a little blow on that motherfucker, and it lights back up, and you're like, that's why I do it.
Mm.
So just let it burn. It's there.
Why is it so important to let it burn? Because most people would want to hear something that'll pick them up versus like feel that shit.
Yeah. Because for me personally, it's just like I realize that I can't rely on other people's validation
Mhm.
to make myself push harder. Like it's not it has to like especially in this sport, bro, you have to have something in you, some kind of motivation, whether it be you're stuck in poverty, you're stuck in this, you're stuck in a poor part of the world, you're stuck in a rut, like you have to let it burn. You have to always be able to in a second go back to that moment where you're like, that's the reason why I started doing this. And I'm not there's no reason to gaslight somebody and be like, yeah, bro, you got it. Keep going. Like I believe in you. I can 100% believe in you. I can be like, yeah, bro, I think you can do it. But like, what's better? Me telling you that I believe in you and that motivation taking you till next week, or me telling you to remember why you do it and let it burn and that motivation carries you until months or a year and 7 months from now and you're fighting for a title.
Mm. So beautifully said, bro. I'm taking motivation from this. I'm ready to go fucking run through a wall.
Yeah, man, go do it. I believe in
I won't be doing none of that. But you just graduated. Let's
you.
talk about it, brother. Was it 2020 was your 2022?
Yeah, 2022. Yeah.
Fire. And what was the degree you graduated with?
sport and recreation management and business, and I took some minors in coaching and nutrition. I never really stuck to the minors. I just wanted to get the electives I wanted. Like I go through like weird phases where I want to learn about something, and I knew I wanted to fight towards the end of my college career. So I was like, all right, so let me learn about nutrition so I can learn how to cut weight and do all that stuff. So I was like, can I take this nutrition minor or this nutrition class? They're like, no, that's only for the people with the minor. I'm like, do I have a minor open? All right, so put me down as a nutrition minor.
Mm.
And the semester's over, I'll drop the nutrition minor.
Just get the class. I'll take the
Yeah,
credits.
yeah. It's the
Was
same thing as taking pop culture history,
yeah.
but I'm not sitting in a pop culture history class. I'm actually interested in nutrition.
What are your plans to do with the degree? Are there any insight? Are
Um,
there any goals?
yeah, I mean, for me right now, I'm young. Um, I'm super young. I'm only 23, and I had this conversation with my coach the other day, and I, truthfully, if I'm being honest with you, I don't like working. I don't like having a job where you go in every day and do the same thing. Like that's just not me. I can't. That's not what I want to do. I want to do this sport. I want to feed my family with this sport. I want to feed myself with this sport. I want this sport to take me across the globe. And some people have different motivations. Some people do it for the money. Some people do it to get their family out of this. Some people do it for many different things. But I'm reasonable with myself, and the reason why I want to do it is I fucking hate working.
Mm.
I want to go travel the world and fight, and if that's what it takes for me to do it. But then I have the degree to fall on if that doesn't work. Knock on wood, and I'm probably not gonna let that happen. But I got the degree to follow on.
Just in case, it
Yeah,
never hurts to have a plan B, and that's saying more than like 99% of
yeah,
pro athletes. Like most of these guys are just like, it's just this, and
yeah,
it must be nice to have that. Is there the nutrition course?
yeah.
Can you give me like the most important like fun fact that you learned from that course?
Mm, yeah. So the most important fact, and I mean, none of it was really fun. Like I said, I don't really like school wasn't really my thing. I had to like actually be interested in the class to like do well in it. So hence the reason why I did the minor stuff. But the most important thing, like I tell my family this all the time, or I tell people this all the time when they ask me about like losing weight and stuff like that, is it's very simple. You eat the amount of protein, the amount you weigh, and the amount of grams of protein. So if I'm 150 something pounds right now, I need to be eating close to 150 grams of protein. Plus, bro, people it's really hard to drink a gallon of water a day.
Yeah.
But you drink anywhere close to a gallon of water a day, all of it flushes your body from like if you smoke, it flushes your body. If you drink, it flushes your body of all that nasty shit, and it strips weight off of you. So it's like why that's I get really frustrated with people like that when they're just like, oh, I don't know why I'm not losing weight. I'm working out and stuff like that, and I'm like, you drinking water? Like, yeah, I'll drink like my Yeti bottle a day. Like that's not enough. It's not enough. You need to drink water, and it's so simple, but it's so effective too.
Mm.
Protein and water, protein and water.
Why is protein so important?
Because I feel like protein is so important because it serves as everything. It's people get their energy storage from like carbs and fats and stuff like that, but protein is energy storage as well.
Mm.
And protein also builds lean muscle. Protein also rebuilds the partially torn ligaments, muscles after you work out. Like protein does a lot for your body. And then you add the water into it and you're flushing all the bad shit out while the protein's fueling your body. And I'm also speaking from a person who's cutting weight right now. But
Mm.
it's like, yeah.
No, I've never taken a nutrition course, but this feels like I just did. I now know why water's so important, why
Yeah.
protein's important. Um,
I'm gonna
now, I
tell
won't-
chat to clip that and I'm gonna send it to my nutrition professor.
yeah, bro, you should, and you could, if you ever wanted, you could really charge people just to give them knowledge
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It's a career path, man. It's a career path, a side hustle perhaps. But a birdie told me that Jiggy may be doing some behind the scenes work for one of the local promotions in the near future.
Yeah,
Uh,
man.
what
Yeah.
you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, bro. So, like I said, I have this degree, sport and recreation management and business. I'm always branching out. I told, I talked to Mike and I talked to Andy from Cage Titans, and I just was like, honestly, I just want to know what goes into the event planning, management. I want to know what goes into managing all these different staff members. I want to learn everything. I want to learn something.
Mm,
But what I really want is I want to commentate
mm.
because I feel like I have the personality for it. I feel like I will be motivated enough to develop knowledge on each and every fighter. So I'm not just in there talking about this, and that, because I've watched many of my fights in the past and not Cage Titans, definitely not Cage Titans, definitely not other promotions, but I've also seen a bunch of like commentators that just don't know really what they're talking about. And it frustrates me because I have family at home that
Mm.
are watching the fights and you guys are supposed to be walking them through what's going on. They're already experiencing all kinds of different emotions watching me play punch face with somebody, and you're over there telling them something that's not actually happening. So I also feel like I just want to learn, bro. Like,
Mm.
so Andy, moral of the story, Andy's thinking about doing something special, and he wants me to be the quarterback of this special thing. So after this fight, I'm gonna be, I think Cage Titans will have a couple more shows in the near future, and I'm gonna be doing something with them for sure.
Awesome, bro. Awesome, man. I could definitely see
So,
you in a commentary role. You definitely got
yeah,
the personality for it. You seem dedicated. You'll do the research. You'll learn all these guys and give those family members who are stressed and
yeah, yeah,
emotional a little sense of relief,
yeah,
you
bro.
know?
My
Because I
mom's
noticed
hot
that
watching that shit.
what's that?
I said my mom is a hot mess watching this.
I bet. That's her son, man. That's her son playing punch face as you
Yeah,
described it. But I can definitely second that. I see it all the time, local promotions, even sometimes on, like, higher scales with these big promotions, like commentary, it's such a hard job to pull off. It's
yeah,
so easy to go wrong, and most of the time, people don't do it right.
yeah. And this is, I just bagged on commentators a little bit, but again, like you said, it's hard. It's you can't slip up. You can't. You
Yeah.
matters of seconds that you need to say the right thing.
Mm.
So it's a very very hard thing to do, and I credit anyone who does it, regardless if they're good or regardless if they're bad. It's hard. It's a hard
Yeah,
thing to do.
that's right. Well, you mentioned quarterbacks. Speaking of quarterbacks, I won't hold you for too much longer. I know you want to go watch the bum ass Steelers play the Browns. Any pick? You got any predictions for tonight? How bad you think they're gonna
Absolutely
lose?
not. I'm not predicting shit.
I love it, bro. Well, I appreciate the time tonight. Uh, plug your socials, sponsors, everybody. October 7th, Artist Scrap. Don't miss it.
Yep.
Jiggy, sign out for us, bro.
Hey man, tune in. I know Indiana's a far drive, fly, whatever, but you can tune in on the stream. I'll be posting it on my social media. My social media is on Instagram, Jiggy Jew with two U's, all lowercase. I'll be posting the stream in there and tune in. We got Mo fighting for a belt. He's the main event. We got
Oh,
Ben Grady fighting for a belt. He's on the main card. And we got Sean Wakefield fighting, think he's fighting 3 fights before me. So we got 4 Evo guys, 3 belt title fights. Um, but yeah, also shout out to Caged In. Shout out to Sneaker Graphics. Shout out to Nobody Better Massage. Shout out to, trying to think.
put you on the
Obviously,
spot.
obviously, shout out Evo. Shout out Nate Libby. Shout out CJ, Keegan, Bruce, Taylor, Mo, everybody I train with, man.